please open or unmute yourself unnecessarily when it is uncalled for. But when you are going to speak, or you want to make suggestion, or you have something or the other to say, you will be unmuted, and then we will ensure that we allow you to come on board, and then allow you to participate effectively in the opening session. So please, we kindly appeal to everyone to please join, and then make yourself comfortable. You will all enjoy this program. We are assuring you this. We are starting right away, and why we start, we are beginning with the program. And once again, I'm going to share the program once again, so that we can see, and then depending on the time frame in your place where you are, by our time here is just 6 minutes past 9, and we are built to start at 9, between 8:15, 8:59, we have said to allow people to join the platform. And since this is a virtual program, others will join, and we don't want to waste time, because our guest speakers too, who are on the platform, we don't want a situation whereby we infringe on another person's time. So we will start with the national anthem, and which is Nigerian national anthem, since the program is holding in Nigeria, and as usual, we give honor to whom honor is due, and our precious country, Nigeria. We have the anthem where you will just follow the rhythms, and while the music is played, we allow everyone to please kindly just within the next 2 minutes thereabout, we will take the national anthem, and that we will just Thank you. We'll take the second part when we are done with the opening session. Now, we want to start right away. We bring up Dr. Jasin, the chairman, LOC, Foluke. Please, let's bring up Dr. Jasin's brief introduction on the welcome. Foluke, please kindly bring up Dr. Jasin. Is Dr. Jasin there? Is Dr. Jasin there to give us the welcome message, okay, or the welcome address from Dr. Jasin? Okay, we just getting this email. This has decided to pre-record, and I will want to share the screen, and then we have the message of Dr. Jasin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. We want to appreciate Justin for this, for his opening message. I want to thank him so much. Please, I want to move to the next program now, while I call on well, before Professor, okay, is Professor Shibiko Ofoma? Professor Shibiko Ofoma. Professor Shibiko, please kindly unmute yourself. We have enabled your screen. Okay. Okay. Professor Shibiko.
Also, join let's take So.
Professor Shibiko did not know why he was or she was online before. I do not know why we are having that issue from Professor Shibiko. Maybe, and unfortunately, Professor Roland has already fixed his time as at the time which, while we are planning this program, he has requested that based on his the time difference in his place, he has requested for this period. Foluke, can you please bring up the documentary? Why will he mail Professor Shibiko now to please come online again? Foluke, please, can you come up with the documentary? Just a brief introduction, what we had on WSC 2020. Please, Oluke, can you please come up? While we please, can you, Oluke, please come up with the highlights of World Sustainability Conference of 2020. Okay, why we have that, I think I have the PowerPoint or slides for 2020. Uluke is also not online now. I do not know why she's not. Network is okay. I wish to please share the screen now and show the highlights of 2021 2020 conference. Just show the highlights. We welcome you all to 2021 Sustainability Conference, which we have the various speakers, the keynote address, the other speakers from all other parts of this continent. The Green Institute website is www.greeninstitute.ng. It's located in Nigeria, West Africa, in Africa precisely. What Sustainability 2020 conference highlights? We had Professor Miriam Amit from Israel. We have Associate Professor Taiwo Adenegun from Ashibas University, Nigeria, and Dr. Folishek Ishola from Gothenburg Energy, Sweden, who were speakers last year. Why we have chosen November 13 significantly as the annual conference date, except otherwise decided by the National Organizing Committee. But November 13, you can always save the date, and if otherwise, you will be communicated. We have the highlights. Professor Miriam Amit, during our presentation, we have this. Professor Miriam Amit, during our presentation, we have this. Professor Miriam Amit, during our presentation, we have this. This was a title. Members with screenshot of those who were participants in the course of the program, while Professor Miriam Amit from Israel presenting. In the course of presentation, we have Shile Young from Japan, also contributing the course of that program. You see our screen being active. The anchor, who is the executive secretary of the Green Institute, also, that's myself, anchoring the program. We have Professor Miriam Amit, the screen just there, answering questions, while Dr. Ishola from Sweden was doing a presentation. Here we have Glenn Michel from Germany during the course of the presentation in the opening ceremony. We have Associate Professor Taiwo Adenegan from Ashiba University during his own presentation. We have Dinike Tishemolu responding in the course of the closing remarks. We have Professor Sonny also there. We have others in the course of the program, and the video link you can always watch, and this is the video link, and people can check 3 main guest speakers last year and parallel sessions for various presenters, and then we showcase the green room, and that essentially we have for the 2020 World Sustainability Conference. I'm just trying to see now if Professor Shibiko is back online, because Professor Ian, from his time, based on his location, he has requested for that time, and so we do not want to shift his time. Can we have, let's check if Professor Shibiko is on there now to see. It's back. Professor Shibiko is back. Okay, why we have to adjust the program to see that we have value for our time, and we do not change the time. The second speaker is Professor Hyan Roland, who has requested for 10:45, between 10:45 and 11:15 a.m. And then he is expected to join based on his location. We will be bringing him up. Why I may have to take my own presentation now, so that if Professor Shibiko joins later on, she can take my own time, while I just go right away into the presentation. So obviously we'll have the second guest speaker at his own time. I will be taking my presentation now, and I will be going to the presentation right away. We will. Okay, let me try to share my screen, and right. Let me share the screen. All right, I welcome you all once again, and I want to go into my presentation. The title of my presentation is Digital Economy in Repositioning Education in a Pluralistic World. I'm Adenegan Kehinde Emmanuel from the Department of Mathematics at the M.I.S College of Education, Ondo State, and Ondo State is in Nigeria. I will have my email there. I quickly want to go through the brief of my presentation overview before I go into that. I will introduce and give a brief on my research interest and my college, give definitions on digital economy and education. I'll speak about today's challenges. I'll show a clip on the segment and just watch that short video. Then areas to explore for digital economy, then recommendations and conclusion. I'll go back to that screen. Where Adeyemi College of Education, like I've said, is located in Ondo State, Ondo City, in Ondo State, Nigeria. We have our website. I will just quickly just go through that. It's essential. I showcase my institution. Let me go to the website since we have others outside Nigeria that are watching, and I'll just showcase my institution and just have what we have. That's the institution website. Is the foremost teacher training institution in Nigeria. I will quickly just take us through 2 minutes campus tour, and just to see what the institution looks like. And you can also always search us on Facebook, on our website, and then to see the college. Okay, I will just quickly show just a four-wall of the institution. Well, it may not have video, but just see the institution. We have 7 schools in the institution: sciences, vocational and technical education. We have languages. We have primary education. We have adult education. We have these areas. All other 7 significant schools in the school with over 15,000 students on enrollment. The institution has able and dynamic lecturers. This is the area view of the institution, and just have that. It's a good institution to be while showcasing what we have in that institution, from the School of Sciences in that institution. And it's a great foremost teacher training institution in Nigeria. And then so if you need to know more about this institution, you can always visit the institution website at www.acondo.edu.ng, and we have that showcasing what we have in the institution and the like. So because I'm not to speak more about my institution, then I am just going straight into my presentation. Okay. Technology yesterday, then technology today. We have seen what technology is yesterday. Those days of manual, we see the radio, and many of our children now today may only just see this and will not no longer use this. And this is what technology is today. And you can see that. And tomorrow, technology is fast growing, and hence we're talking about digital economy and what we'll see, very important, what 10 people could do 50, 20, 100 years ago. Just a single man or a single machine could even do that now. And technology is not static, and that we see. Yes, introduction. One of the indices by which a nation's growth and advancement can be measured is by technological advancement, and not by the level of our endowment in natural and human resources. A nation's economic efficiency is determined, measured, compared, classified and ranked by its technological advancement. Now, digital economy is making its waves. Looking through the definition of digital economy, is the worldwide network of economic activities, commercial transactions, and professional interactions that are enabled by information and communications technologies. It can be succinctly summed up as the economy based on digital technologies. Looking at important in this, ICT is a combination of progress made in digitalizing field of telecommunicating things, digital engineering, communication engineering at the device level. ICT impregnates three keywords: information, communication, and technology, which are very vital in its operation. Simply, information is a definite knowledge acquired of facts collected and gathered or supplied about a specified matter or subject. Digital economy. What digital what we have in an information age? Information technology is seen as the acquisition, processing, storage, and distribution of vocal, pictorial, textual, and numeric information by means of computers and telecommunications networks. Simply, communication is the exchange of information between people by means of speaking, writing, or using a common system of signs or behaviors. The ICT tools or components, which are computers, telephones, radio, communication networks, and know-how, have a lot of influence in enhancing the effectiveness of instructional techniques. Of course, the use of internet and other products of telecommunication industry looms large in computer science, computer engineering, and information systems interactively together for efficient and effective gathering, processing, dissemination, and maintenance of information. Now, components of digital economy. So go back to education. Talk about government, policy and regulation, internet, the World Wide Web, which is WWW, electricity infrastructure. We consider telecommunication industry, the digital service providers, e-business and e-commerce industry, information and knowledge management systems. Intellectual property rights, human capital and knowledge workers, research and development, and emerging technologies. These are essential components of digital economy today. Excuse me. Education. What is education? It is a body of knowledge acquired in a formal and non-formal school setting. Yes, but it's obtained, you acquire that from a school setting, even non-formal setting, where we have in those days when the Western world, especially in Nigeria, when we do not have many schools, and then in the non-formal school setting, people, those who came around to educate the citizens. Education is a process of receiving and giving inspiring, transformative, and systematic instructions. It is a weapon to end terrorism, poverty, insecurity, and many notable global challenges, especially in Africa. And of course, I'm particular about Africa because I'm from Africa and I know what the trends of global challenges we're having in Africa. And so it's a weapon to end terrorism, to end poverty, when the mind is educated. When the mind is educated, certainly the mind of an educated fellow will not go into terrorism. Of course, poverty, when poverty is tackled, and of course, an educated man proposes policy, educational policy that will end poverty and insecurity, and in many areas we'll be able to see, and then bringing technology to fight insecurity, terrorism, poverty, and the like. What are today's challenges? The theme of this conference is on the World Sustainability Conference is repositioning and transitioning sustainability teams beyond COVID-19 era. Now, we have to see that pandemic has exacerbated the digital and learning gaps in developing nations. I want to showcase this video on, do you know link at YouTube? This video was compiled by Jose Estes in Joshua Ogunwole keynote address delivered in 2021. I'll just click on the YouTube for Ross to just watch and just watch.
Click this to share your video and share screen. If you click share screen. Now,
my presentations.
it
is not in.
They are not allowed you to do that yet. The person who's controlling it has not allowed you to do that. So your video has started.
Has not started.
I hope we are following the clip, just letting us to know what technology has done and where technology is going in this dispensation and the need for digital economy. What many of us did not know before. This clip is showing us to let us see the demand. We would have to get the video. So share the screen now and see Can we see? Oh, the video. Okay, the video is showing. Oh, I don't know the video. Let the video is not showing. Let's share the screen. Okay, I think sorry the video was not showing the other time, and it was just showing the screen. 35 billion devices will be connected to the internet by 2021. Over 400 new websites are created every minute. There are over 7 billion searches on Google every day. Every minute, over 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube. And by 2022, video will account for about 80%, and this we are seeing with what is happening globally. 350,000 tweets are sent per minute, and that we can always see people are using Twitter. The usual post office, they are no longer active as before. People do not even use their private mailbag. Instagram has more than 1.1 billion active users. TikTok had over 800 million active users, and many apps being created on daily basis, and different things we have. Facebook is gaining more grants on users, and we have so many. In 2020, we had over 30 billion data records that were stored, because now people are using devices, people are using phones, people are using smartphones, different things to work. And this is as a result of technological advancement. This is amazing because of the age of big data. 90% of the world we have this have been created, and we see in all areas where we have technology taking over the music industry, education industry, everywhere. And the amount of new technical information is doubling every 2 years. For students starting a 4-year technical college degrees, we'll see what we have. Half of what they learn in their first year will be outdated by the 3rd year of study because of knowledge expansion. We will see with advancement in technology, we cannot but say, if we are not well informed, definitely we are going to be deformed. With what we are seeing, 25% of population in China has the highest IQ, and we have the population is increasing from time to time. In India is the top 28%. And this, we have to know that, and obviously 5G network now, when it was 1G, 2G, and we are seeing people will communicate face to face. And of course, the Zoom is also benefit of technological advancement. And then it was the pandemic that brought about that we were virtual meetings, saving costs of traveling, saving costs of now many jobs today that barely existed 10 years ago. We can now see Uber driving, cloud specialists, drone pilot, transformation, different works that we are seeing today as a result of advancement in technology and need for a digital economy using technologies that we have not even been, that have not been invented. We are seeing different things. The video is saying, in order to solve problems, we don't even know there are problems of problems, that when we solve a problem, another problem comes up, and we begin to see And this is the need for us to follow the technology of a thing. The 5G mobile internet has hit the market in 2019 and is growing. Globally, we save with this, and that is what Green is advocating for, and then we have that. Many Konga, Amazon, different online digital marketing outreach that are there. In some years ago, we used the conventional post office to bring goods and services. For these ones, you can sit in your bedroom, have meetings, transact, and get your goods at the right time. Virtual meetings, virtual classrooms, and where technology is going today is going to be very amazing for us to see. Artificial intelligence will have perform women in many activities in the next 10 years, and that we can see. When you get to big shopping mall, you may just find just only one reception there, where we see the artificial intelligence in place. So thank you for watching, and I go back to my presentation that we have been able to watch just a little clip. Those things we may not know before, and we are seeing surely that this is telling us that if we are not well informed, obviously we are going to be deformed. And there is the need for us to know what we are doing. Otherwise, we will be completely left behind. We'll continue with the presentation slides, and that we see now specific areas of needs or digital economy. We'll look at the ICT online event planning. This are in vogue now. Bulk SMS delivery, digital graphics, digital photography and event coverage, online shopping, forex, etc. Infrastructural development, housing, transportation, education, agriculture, healthcare, production, tourism, surveying, town planning, etc. These are areas where we have to see that digital economy can come in. And now, need for digital economy and modern technology to reposition education. There is the need for change. Why? When it comes, we may want to stand against, or we'll need that there is a need. When a change comes, we embrace it. The use of virtual classroom, virtual meetings and things like that in few years ago, where it's been invoked, but not just as this and why people have to travel to Europe, travel here and there for meetings, for conferences. Needs, population, increase in demand, pressure on land, better service delivery, time management, modern economy, cultural evolution, globalization. These are needs for digital economy and modern technology to reposition education. And if these are done, we will know we'll have good educational standard, and good educational policies will be made and then implemented. From where do we start? Huge amount is not needed to start a digital business. Not fraud, but real wealth. And for whatever what we do for this, what we have mentioned, and whatever the country, the nation, individuals can maximize profit, can maximize, utilize what they have to ensure that with digital economy, we can reposition education. And when we have that resources and right people are placed in position of leadership, surely things will be transformed and repositioned. Let's consider Vision 2020 view of Lagos, Nigeria, which was a place, but now this is what in Nigeria, that in the Vision 2020 showcase, that this is what is expected of Lagos State. Where are we? We are in 2021. Are we there? Can we get there soon? And we have to see for planning and for those things which we have to work on. My recommendations and conclusions as I end up this: don't sleep when others are fast awake digitally. If you sleep when others are fast awake, then you will be completely left behind. Like I have said, if you are not well informed, you will be deformed. Food for thought. Don't write off any idea that comes to your mind on digital economy. Grow the idea as it may take you to high places tomorrow. Then for education, for areas where we have to see our policymakers and the like, put the right peg in the right hole, let them take useful decisions, and let the right people be put in places where they can take a decision, right decision, and implement. Every business is important. What we do to and with it as investors matter. So let us invest in education to see transformed individuals, transform children, transform young ones, transform individuals. Conclusion: Nigeria is a country of many allies and educated individuals with vast knowledge in different sectors of technology. I'm particular about Nigeria because I'm from Nigeria and I've just tried to speak in this area. However, the supposed Vision 2020, which I've said is a policy that can put a great country, Nigeria, among the top countries in the world, if only we can tackle our problems as nation united with a common goal. Technological development has direct relationship with standard of living and also depends on vision, leadership, good policy, development of local technology, funding, institutional framework, and infrastructure. And certainly, if we do this, we'll definitely get there. Thank you for your kind attention and thanks for listening. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you. I hand over to Foluke Geneva. Please, I can cite Professor Shibiko is online now. Professor Ofoma is online. Please, you can have take the floor. Why after presentations we could take questions, and since I'm still online, so we could accommodate questions at the right time. But for others, so that we do not just take their time, we'll be expecting Professor Ian, who would also join. Professor Former, please, you can unmute yourself. You now have the house. Thank you. Professor Shibiko Former, you are welcome.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Let me start by apologizing for not being here on time. We know where we are, some issues of technology. I'm happy the last the person that just presented talked about technology. We see the magic technology can do and can make when it is not well fixed. I want to also appreciate the Green Institute for inviting me to talk on repositioning and transitioning education delivery beyond COVID-19 for sustainable development. I don't know if I can share my screen.
Yes, you can share your screen. You've been enabled. Please do.
Okay. Okay, by way of introduction, we will look at the key concepts in this title: education delivery, repositioning, transitioning. Then we look at the rationale for repositioning and transitioning. Why should we do that? Is it necessary? Are there reasons for that? Then we will look at the SDGs and the year 2020, the terrible year that locked everybody down. Then we talk a bit about COVID-19 pandemic, and we see education as the hub of all developments. After that, we will look at how can education be repositioned and transitioned for sustainable development. And then we conclude. So let's look at education delivery. Education delivery means implementation of the planned educational programs. It is normally done at the classroom by the teacher, the learners or students, and all the stakeholders that are interested in promoting the education of the learners. They may not be in the classroom, but they contribute in one way or the other to ensure that education is effective. The other stakeholders include the parents, educational managers, the government, and the community, because schools are built in community and they contribute in presenting the human and resource facilities needed for effective implementation of education. The school administrators are in charge of monitoring, supervising, and ensuring that the educational plan or the programs are effectively implemented. The government provides the wherewithal, the funding. I'm happy the last presenter mentioned funding, which is very, very important. If you are going to attain any educational goal, there must be adequate funding. The government provides funding and provides the staff, their salaries, the facilities, the equipment, the infrastructure, and also a friendly environment for education to occur. The students are also stakeholders because if they don't do their own bit, the goals of education will not be attained. Today, people are talking that we have many lazy students who are not aligning to the programs in the school, and it is a problem. So if we are going to move forward, the students must also contribute their bit to attain the sustainable development. So let's look at repositioning. This means changing, adjusting, reforming, altering the educational endeavors in schools for improvement. The term depicts that there are some things that are not normal. There are some problems. So if we talk of repositioning, we are thinking of a reform or a change, or even introducing innovations to improve educational delivery. In this dispensation, the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly influenced the mode of education in the world, and so calls for a rethink or an adjustment or alteration or reform or transformation in the education delivery. I'm happy the last presenter dwelt on technologies, which we hope will be the answer to our problems. On the other hand, transitioning means shifting or changing, moving forward from one level to another or to a higher level. It is changing from one state or stage or condition to another for better results. In this discourse, the focus is on how we can adjust or change or reform education delivery beyond COVID-19 pandemic for effective sustainable development. Both repositioning and transitioning means positive movement to attain the goals of education. the two refer to innovation or reform. So what are the rationale for repositioning and transitioning? Let me quickly go through the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The first is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, partnership for the goals. These 17 goals and their 169 targets cannot be attained if we don't focus strictly on education, if we don't fund education, if we don't train the stakeholders, especially the teachers and the learners in digital technology. Education has been found to be the hub for all these goals. So if education fails, then nobody will attain the 17 goals. So in 2020, the whole world experienced tragedy in terms of the effect of COVID-19. The coronavirus that came from China was spread to almost all nations of the world. And many countries were negatively affected. The impact was experienced in all spheres of human endeavor, education inclusive. Institutions of learning at all levels were shut down. Learners were confined in their homes to contain the spread of the devastating virus. Many countries set up protocols to contain the spread and manage the affected people. UNESCO in 2020 reported that nearly 1.6 billion learners of different age brackets had their education disrupted. While many countries designed means of reaching the learners at home through online mode, the others were helpless as they did not have the required know-how, equipment, infrastructure, facilities, and even environment to tackle the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. Online courses, online teaching and learning were just introduced by some institutions of learning without being ready for that, because most of the teachers did not have the skills, the students did not have the facilities. In Nigeria, mostly private schools were the people that engaged in online teaching and learning. And what did they do? They were just using phone. They get their teachers to, I interviewed some of the teachers that said they did online teaching and learning during the pandemic. They said they were asked to practice reading the content, and there will be videos when it is perfect, and then sent to parents. And because most of the children don't even have ordinary phones, not to talk of smartphones. So the parents will now transfer or open the websites for the students to read. And I don't see that as teaching and effective learning. So, but the vulnerable children, like the ones that don't have access in the rural areas, had nothing to do. They were locked up in their homes because they were used to face-to-face classroom presentations. Online learning can be synchronous or asynchronous. As pointed out by WSC21, synchronous learning involves a scheduled meeting whereby every learner attends. It may be virtual or physical. An example of virtual synchronous learning is the Zoom meeting that we are, like the one we are having now. We are seeing ourselves, we can talk, we can exchange ideas and so on. But how many people were able to get the facilities now that the learners were at home? Then asynchronous is the mode whereby learners can access learning materials or access their teachers from different locations and at their personal schedules. It is flexible and accommodates different learning styles. It is also known as location-dependent learning. Emails, recorded audio or visual materials, social media groups, collaborative discussions in the cloud can be used when we are talking of asynchronous mode. But today, there exist different variants of COVID. It appears we have come to live with them. The challenge in education faced by many nations are humongous. What are these challenges that we need to battle with and try to solve them for us to stay aboard in terms of education delivery? The learners are confined in their homes. There's disruption of teaching and learning activities and school calendars. In Nigeria, we are still trying to juggle to see how we can meet up with the calendar disrupted by COVID-19 pandemic. Obstacles to fully engage online learning as discovered by Leme, Bazele, and Dolek in 2021 in their research. Increased anxiety, stress, and difficulties concentrating on study. The learners who were used to staying in classrooms and listening to the teachers and doing a lot of activities are now locked in their homes, and it's a lot of stress. Some of them changed to some social malaises. Technological and instructional challenges is another issue. The teachers are ill-equipped, the learners don't have the skills, there are no facilities, the infrastructure is not there. Sometimes we have erratic internet connectivity, it comes and goes. All these are disruptions. The online teaching was very urgently introduced and abrupt without teachers being trained in the skills. There are social and effective challenges of isolation and social distancing. The governments, in a bid to contain the spread of COVID-19, instituted protocols that locked people inside and for them to observe social distancing. Movement was not easy. No crowding or coming to functions or places where there are crowds are not permitted. The learners have to adapt to the abrupt and unplanned shift to online mode, as discovered by Batculon and his associates. There is emergency transition due to COVID-19, which has relatively little body of content. What they were doing was not actually deep in terms of the knowledge that is supposed to be, that the learners are supposed to imbibe. Many poor countries struggle to fund education as barely as they could, but due to COVID-19, they had to face real funding challenges. They had to divert the meager resources they have to create isolation centers, provide palliatives to the citizens that were locked in their houses, and then that shut down their revenue generating organs for months. This is a finding by Ademokoya 2021. Many young people who were not enthusiastic about going to school saw the opportunity to be out and then do whatever they want. Abelega 2021 reported a remote study carried out by Human Rights Watch in 2020 among 57 communities in Africa between April and August 2020, which identified that during the pandemic, learners in Africa were receiving no teaching and education. They were learning less through distance education. They had mental health consequences from the pandemic. They had limited access to digital technologies for learning. They had intergenerational inequities in learning opportunities and less access to learning opportunities in the rural areas. We still have that. Most rural areas don't even have electricity, and there's no way we can talk of technology without electricity. People may have their plan B, but it's very expensive to use generators and so on. And to use solar energy panels is still very not affordable. It's a problem that the government must look at to be able to take education home to everybody, so that we will attain or maintain that slogan of the Sustainable Development Initiative of leave no one behind. Everybody must be carried along for us to attain the 17 goals. The disabled children with disabilities are very much hit with the pandemic, because most of them cannot go online. Excuse me. Most of them cannot, do not have access to the facilities and the infrastructure. The pandemic, though there are negative effects, excuse me, have some positive influences. It exposed the lapses in our educational system. Most schools do not have water. We are talking of washing our hands properly and regularly. There was no water. There was no electricity for online learning. It was a problem. The leaders and teachers were provided with research needs. COVID-19 exposed people to such problems that lead to research. And many people got into that. And that is why today we even have the vaccine. It's a result, it's a product of people's research. We have solutions, we have the drugs, and so on. So minus the COVID-19, these research areas will not be engaged in. The result of their findings contributed immensely to continuity of life. We are alive today because maybe we have obeyed the protocols, we have watched good health practices, which at the initial were neglected by people. We got this information and knowledge because of COVID-19 pandemic. It stimulates innovation in education delivery. Now we are talking of repositioning and transitioning education. Minus COVID-19, we will relax and be doing our business as usual. But now we have seen that in cases of emergency, we need to do something. And so innovations in education, many countries are looking at how to improve education, have a rethink, not always face-to-face. There should be digital or digitization of education. Teachers were exposed to new technologies and how to integrate them in their classrooms. These are because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Teachers, schools immediately presented new technologies and trained the teachers nilly-willy for them to use them, integrate them in their teaching. Now, according to Obanye, the pandemic lingers longer than predicted. The state of education should be response ready, should be response prompt, and response effective in view of the current dispensation and future possible future crisis. This calls for repositioning and transitioning of the educational system. According to a former 2020, the effect of the global scourge calls for a change in the mode of education delivery. We need to change, and what do we, how do we do that? How do we change? How do we reposition? How do we transition the education delivery so that we will, at the end of 2030, Agenda 2030 of the United Nations will be attained by nations. First, there should be massive improvement in ICT skills and provision of infrastructure in the schools and institutions of learning to convert the people we call born before computers. There are so many teachers who are very conservative. Hey, my battery. Who are very conservative, and they say they have nothing to do with computer. We call them BBCs, born before computer. Born before computer. They don't want to have anything to do with technology. They want to be teaching as they used to, without any change. Sorry, So there should be provisional development programs for teachers in content knowledge and pedagogy. The teachers must be well trained, well groomed in knowledge. We observe that so many teachers are very shallow in their subject areas, maybe due to the kind of training or due to their background. They should know about, they should be groomed in the new technologies, how to integrate technologies in their teaching activities, in their classroom, the different methods that are available, and so on. There should also be mentoring. Experienced teachers should mentor newly employed teachers to teach them the ways of doing things, to teach them new methods, to groom them for effective teaching and learning. The education programs should be adapted to align with the present realities. Most schools are yet to review their programs. Some of them are still teaching the obsolete content and using obsolete methods and obsolete facilities. There is need for adaptation to look at what we need. After all, education focuses on training effective and competent members of a society, that they should be able to contribute to the development of their society at graduation. There should also be collaboration and linkages with international bodies for enhancement of education delivery. We have developed countries, we have buoyant economies. They should also help the developing or less buoyant economies in providing for education in terms of the facilities, the infrastructure, and beefing up the learning environments so that in the end, we are sure of attaining the SDGs. There should be policy formulation by governments to accommodate all learners. In fact, in Nigeria, it's amazing that the Nigerian government is not yet implementing the inclusive education, where the special needs education children are integrated in the mainstream. Rather, they built separate schools. If you are moving around the Nigeria, you see schools for the blind, the schools for handicapped children, the school for disabled children, and so on. This is not for this century, the 21st century, and for us to attain the SDGs, we should practice inclusive education, where everybody come together under one roof, whether you are Black or red, whether you are very intelligent or mediocre, whether you are blind or you see clearly. And teachers should be trained in the area of specialization, special education contents, so that they'll be able to accommodate these students. A few years ago, I was chairman of a board of primary school, and there's a very poor child in a class. What the teacher did was to tell the head teacher to remove the child from her class, that she's unable to accommodate her, that she doesn't understand anything and should not be in school. As the chairman of the board, I gave a query to the teacher. And this is a teacher that has a master's in special education. So the people are parading their certificates without actually having the content. So this teacher was not suspended for 6 months, and later she was brought back to the class and she learned her lesson. So there should be a blended learning to accommodate all learners so that nobody will be left behind. Funding is a very important factor in education delivery. If you plan a beautiful, wonderful curriculum or educational programs, and there is no adequate supporting funding, the implementation will suffer. And that is what we are experiencing today. If you look at the national policy on education of Nigeria, you see beautiful and lofty ideas, lofty policies, but they are not implemented. The government is not, doesn't show that political will to fund education, for us to massificate and provide enough access to education. Then there is provision and use of alternative methods in assessing and in evaluating learning. This is another thing we can do. in order to reposition and transition transition education. It is no more paper and pencil or teacher-made test and so on. Online evaluation and assessment modes are being used today. I appreciate the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board of Nigeria that handles millions of examinees, and these are done online. In most universities, the faculty large classes are also examined online. And I think that is an alternative. We should move to digitization of assessment and evaluation procedures. So how do we go further? How do we go further? Now, what can we do to reposition and transition education? We do all this, I believe we can achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. In conclusion, to attain the SDGs, education delivery should be repositioned and transitioned. Education is the hub for the attainment of the other 16 SDGs. And so governments must be interested in promoting it through adequate funding, provision of appropriate infrastructure, and enabling environment. The COVID-19 taught the world many lessons. And I'm sure most countries would not want to be taken unawares again. So the implication is that countries must have alternative means of providing access to education in the face of any emergency. Teachers at all levels of education should be encouraged to imbibe how to integrate new technologies in the classroom. They should imbibe the skills, and the school administrators and philanthropists should also help in providing the facilities, because the teachers cannot integrate the technologies if and only if they don't have the facilities. Thank you very much for your rapt attention.
Thank you, Professor Ufoma. I did very grateful for your presentation, and we're very grateful. We want to take questions now for the first two papers presented before we have other guest speakers. We're sorry for the time lag, only for us to be informed that the time discussed with the keynote speaker is Nigeria. Of course, we work with his time, and we never knew that he's still an hour ahead of his time. That was the reason he was not there before. But of course, we have changed my time, and then we have that. So, Professor Foreman, so sorry for the time change. We had we have Dr. Akibile online the other time. He raised his hand, and we guess he wanted to ask question. Then if Dr. Akimbile is still online, and others, please, your question or contribution to Professor Ofoma's presentation, or my presentation, question, contribution, please, we can please kindly take that. The floor is open. Just signify electronically or let us know, and then we try to unmute you from here. Please kindly indicate a question or contributions to Professor Former is still online now. Dr. Akimbili, are you still there? You signified to contribute the other time. Okay, I can still see someone's hand is up. Okay, the person's hand is down. Okay, Emmanuel Shidema, please. You have the floor.
Okay, good morning.
Please ask a question. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate the program. My question is going to Professor Former. Thank you so much, Ma. I appreciate your contribution. I want to get some kind of clarity because I'm in the educational system too, even though I'm still quite young in the higher institution. And I relate with most of the things you have shared concerning the constraints the education system is facing because of the pandemic. And in all truthfulness, I know that very little had been done by the institutions to support even the teachers, or would I say now lecturers, who are ready to work with the online system and push things further. So I want to ask if there are some openings that you know about right now that people can access outside their own institutes to help them run with the kind of vision they have when it has to do with enhancing education with technology. Because privately, I've been trying to get some things account. I can't spend more than $100 in a month. So it's a bit frustrating for us. So I don't know if there are openings that someone like me and some of my colleagues too who are facing this challenge can plunge into to make a headway and get the satisfaction of our vision to make sure that the
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Have you finished? Okay.
Yes, ma, thank you.
Okay. The moderator, do I take all the questions or do I answer them as they come?
Maybe you answer the question.
Okay.
Just go ahead and answer. So
okay, thank you very much. I would not say that I know any opening for people like you to access or run training in the new technologies or new pedagogy or content development. But I believe that if you go to the internet, that's the essence of digital economy. If you go to the internet and type what you want, you will get some solutions. You will be referred to some of the websites where you can go and check if what they have fits your demand. I know UNESCO, if you go to UNESCO website, they always have trainings or workshops or seminars or even scholarships. I have seen a number of advertisements on scholarships, like the Commonwealth Scholarship or Fellowship, and the others, which if you are online and you always access the internet, you always get the right information. Some of them are still on now. There's one for medical doctors because I wrote a referee for somewhere. That's why I know about that. And it's for 2022. So if you check your online facilities, the websites, you may come across some of the ones that will answer your demands, that will help you. Again, you can also discuss with your university's academic, direct academic planning, because some of these scholarships are sent to them to disseminate to staff who are interested. So if you ask questions around, I'm sure you will get solutions to your problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I appreciate the contribution. I appreciate, thank you. And I'm sure so many of us will benefit from what you just shared now. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do we still have any other questions for Professor Ofuma?
I want to remove my slides. Remove my slides. This is not great. Okay, stop sharing. Look at it. I'm on muted.
Hello. Hello.
Sorry, we can't hear Dr. Jasin. We can't hear Dr. Jasin. The audio, there's still problem with the audio. Dr. Jasin. Sorry, we do not know the problem from his recording or from his end. why the audio, I think it's a big
Yeah,
big issue.
just give us a second.
Okay, just a second, please. We're working on from our hand here to see. Just in a moment. But please, Professor Former, can you just send your email on the chat box? I'll just receive a message now. Send your email on the chat box for people to just private chat you or email you on your presentation or anything related to what you have presented. Thank you, ma'am.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Jason McSparron, and I am the Vice President of Research and Grant Writing at the Green Institute. I'm also a visiting assistant professor at Providence College in Rhode Island, USA. And today, I have the pleasure of welcoming you to the World Sustainability Conference, sponsored by the Green Institute. The World Sustainability Conference is an annual gathering of renowned sustainability experts and researchers from academia who come together to proffer actionable solutions to sustainable changes. It is a confluence of prominent sustainability speakers and presenters who, in pursuit of academic excellence, are granted the opportunity to present their original research and findings before a distinguished audience. This year's forum focuses on the theme, repositioning and transitioning global sustainability beyond the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has not spared the nobility of the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. As policymakers enact recovery strategies, sustainability must be repositioned and transitioned if those strategies ought to be consolidated. Based on this backdrop, we are convening global leaders and stakeholders to heed the clarion call to tackle the underlying challenges of sustainable development, to leave no one behind, to eradicate extreme poverty, to ensure the sustainability of the planet and our natural systems, to foster cooperation and prosperity for all people and all communities from all regions of the world. This year we have poster sessions, policy panel discussions, and academic presentations that will demonstrate the broad scope of research activities being conducted at various universities, colleges, and other tertiary institutions around the world. While keynote talks from industry experts will provide opportunities for discussion and networking among students, professionals, and other practitioners from around the world. This year we have 5 themes: education, which includes leadership, entrepreneurship, finance, politics, governance, and future preparation and adaptation. The second theme is energy. Energy access, efficiency, investment, and energy research. The environment, looking at ecosystem services, green engineering and chemistry, air and water quality, stressors, resource integrity, resource scarcity, and sustainable communities. Economics, incentives, supply and demand, natural resource accounting, costs, and prices of going green. And lastly, equality and equity. We want to talk about inclusivity, policy making, and health. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a long list of distinguished scholars, students, and researchers here today. We have 53 sessions, engaging content, and we have several world-renowned speakers who are going to engage us today. Just to mention a few, we have Vijayendra Rao, a lead economist from the Development Research Group from the World Bank; Ian Rowlands, professor and associate vice president, president of International University of Waterloo, Canada; David R. Boyd, a UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and Environment; Gabrielle Martinez, Director of the Master's Public and Policy Program, the Instituto Tecnológico Autónomo de México. Kendi Adejenin. He's a financial mathematics from Adeyemi College of Education in Nigeria. And lastly, Chibiko Ofroma, a professor of arts education at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be a very interesting and instructional day. It's a great opportunity to meet friends, colleagues, and people with similar interests to you as we all face down the problems associated with the COVID-19 and the challenges to bring to fruition the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals here in 2021. Thank you very much for attending today. I wish you the best of luck, and I really do hope that today is a really eye-opening and inspirational experience for you. Welcome to the World Sustainability Conference, sponsored by the Green Institute. Thanks so much, everybody. I look forward to hearing from you, and we'll be talking about these really interesting issues as the day progresses.
Thank you, Dr. Justin. Thank you for the presentation, your welcome speech. Why we do not have questions, and then we will just play a video now, and then we'll go into a break, waiting for Professor Hyan to join us for his presentation. So after this break, after the short video, we will go into a break, and then by 11:45, that's Nigerian time, that we will be converging again for the other presentations from the presenters. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, the video is sorry, the video is still loading.
Pledges or NDCs. Without more, Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic has taught us that national solutions to global problems do not work. We come to Glasgow with global ambition to save our people and to save our planet, but we now find three gaps. On mitigation, climate pledges or NDCs. Without more, we will leave the world on a pathway to 2.7 degrees, and with more, we are still likely to get to 2 degrees. These commitments, made by some, are based on technologies yet to be developed, and this is at best reckless and at worst dangerous. On finance, we are $20 billion short of the $100 billion, and this commitment, even then, might only be met in 2023. On adaptation, adaptation finance remains only at 25%, not the 50-50 split that was promised nor needed given the warming that is already taking place on this earth. Climate finance to frontline small island developing states declined by 25% in 2019. Failure to provide the critical finance and that of loss and damage is measured, my friends, in lives and livelihoods in our communities. This is immoral and it is unjust. If Glasgow is to deliver on the promises of Paris, it must close these three gaps. So I ask to you, what must we say to our people living on the front line in the Caribbean, in Africa, in Latin America, in the Pacific, when both ambition and regrettably some of the needed faces at Glasgow are not present? What excuse should we give for the failure? In the words of that Caribbean icon, Eddie Grant, will they mourn us on the front line? When will we, as world leaders across the world, address the pressing issues that are truly causing our people angst and worry, whether it is climate or whether it is vaccines? Simply put, when will leaders lead? Our people are watching, and our people are taking note. And are we really going to leave Scotland without the resolve and the ambition that is sorely needed to save lives and to save our planet? How many more voices and how many more pictures of people must we see on these screens without being able to move? Or are we so blinded and hardened that we can no longer appreciate the cries of humanity? I have been saying to Barbadians for many years that many hands make light work. Today, we need the correct mix of voices, ambition, and action. Do some leaders in this world believe that they can survive and thrive on their own? Have they not learned from the pandemic? Can there be peace and prosperity if 1/3 of the world literally prospers and the other 2/3 of the world live under siege and face calamitous threats to our well-being? What the world needs now, my friends, is that which is within the ambit of less than 200 persons who are willing and prepared to lead. Leaders must not fail those who elect them to lead. And I say to you, there is a sword that can cut down this Gordian knot, and it has been wielded before. The central banks of the wealthiest countries engaged in $25 trillion of quantitative easing in the last 13 years. 25 trillion. Of that, 9 trillion was in the last 18 months to fight the pandemic. Had we used that 25 trillion to purchase bonds, to finance the energy transition, or the transition of how we eat, or how we move ourselves in transport, we would now today be reaching that 1.5 degrees limit that is so vital to us. I say to you today in Glasgow that an annual increase in the SDRs of $500 billion a year for 20 years, put in a trust to finance the transition, is the real gap, Secretary General, that we need to close, not the 50 billion being proposed for adaptation. And if 500 billion sounds big to you, guess what? It is just 2% of the 25 trillion. This is the sword we need to wield. Our excitement 1 hour into this event is far less than it was 6 months ago leading up to this event. Can we, with those voices and these speeches from Sir David and others, find it within ourselves to get the resolve to bring Glasgow back on track? Or do we leave today believing that it was a failure before it starts? Our world, my friends, stands at a fork in the road. One no less significant than when the United Nations was formed in 1945. But then, the majority of our countries here did not exist. We exist now. The difference is we want to exist 100 years from now. And if our existence is to mean anything, then we must act in the interests of all of our people who are dependent on us. And if we don't, we will allow the path of greed and selfishness to sow the seeds of our common destruction. The leaders of today, not 2030, not 2050, must make this choice. It is in our hands, and our people and our planet need it more than ever. We can work with who is ready to go, because the train is ready to leave. And those who are not yet ready, we need to continue to ring circle and to remind them that their people, not our people, but their citizens, need them to get on board as soon as possible. Code red to the G7 countries. Code red to the G20. Earth to COP, that's what it said. Earth to COP. For those who have eyes to see, for those who have ears to listen, and for those who have a heart to feel, 1.5 is what we need to survive. 2 degrees, yes, SG, is a death sentence for the people of Antigua and Barbuda, for the people of the Maldives, for the people of Dominica and Fiji, for the people of Kenya and Mozambique, and yes, for the people of Samoa and Barbados. We do not want that dreaded death sentence. And we've come here today to say, try harder, because our people, the climate army, the world, the planet, needs our actions now, not next year, not in the next decade. Thank you.
Wonderful. This is just the video excerpt from the 2021 UN Conference on Climate Change, and this is one of the cardinal of the Sustainability Development Goals, and which we know this is a wonderful presentation. Well, we've done with 2 presentations now. We want to go on break. Presentation by Professor Former has been taken, while that of Dr. Adenegontu has been taken. We are with Professor Han. We are away from that of Professor Khan from India, and one other guest speakers. But we want to have a break now, just to accommodate the time lag while that has been said. So in the next 35 minutes, we will be back. We will stop live transmission. We will also stop recording, while we will also stop the